My name is Sylvia. Thank you all for coming and watching my recital. I've been hearing about what's been happening in the news, so I thought I should do a concert with music by Black composers in it. It's my 1200th day, by the way, so I'm very excited. This is piece number 1, Feeling the Pulse by Juwon Ogungbe, which was composed in 2014. Juwon Ogungbe is a composer and performer who was born in 1961 in London, England. His parents are of Yoruba ethnic heritage from the West African country of Nigeria. His musical style combines sounds from classical music, African instruments and rhythms, and pop music. Piece number 2, Fairytales by Ignatius Sancho, which was published in 1767. Ignatius Sancho was born in 1729 on a slave ship off the coast of Guinea in West Africa and was taken to the Spanish colony of New Granada in South America. He was sent to England when he was 2 years old, but he was freed when he was a young man after his enslaver died. He became the first Black composer in history to have his music published. Ignatius Sancho, which was published in 1767. I wonder what this title means. Is it about an old man who is young at heart, or a boy who is an old soul, or something totally different, like a nickname? The Old Boys, or something. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. Minuet number 15 by Ignatius Sancho. is a Priceless Jewel by Godwin Sadoh, which was composed in 2001. Godwin Sadoh is a composer, instrumentalist, choral conductor, and scholar who was born in 1965 in the West African country of Nigeria. He did advanced study of music in the United States, where he became the first African to earn a doctoral degree in organ performance anywhere in the world. He composes for diverse music ensembles and styles, and his music has been performed all around the world. Mom always says she likes this piece because of its melody, but I think she likes it because of the title. Right, Mom? Yeah. Tell us what you think in the comments. Also, Godwin Sadoh is going to be watching this, which is really exciting. I'm going to be watched by the composer who wrote this piece, which is really exciting. Hi, Mr. Sadoh. I guess I better play this piece well. Rican Woman by Sister Gotay, which was published in 1896. Sister Marie-Seraphine Gotay was born in 1865 in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and moved to New Orleans, Louisiana, when she was 17 years old. In New Orleans, she joined the Sisters of the Holy Family and became a Catholic nun. There were many black composers in New Orleans in the 1800s, but Sister Gotay is the only known black woman composer from that time. Sister Gotay is the first of 2 woman composers in this book. Volume 2 will have 7 pieces by 5 women composers. I can't wait to learn them since I want to be, and sort of I am already, a composer myself. Ignatius Sancho, which was published in 1767. Kenneth Kafui, which was published in 1986. Kenneth Kafui is a composer and teacher from the West African country of Ghana, where he was born in 1951. He received an award for Best Contemporary Classical Music Composer in Ghana in 1987. His music often includes Ghanaian rhythms and themes. Devonshire's Reel by Ignatius Sancho, which was published in 1779. The Duchess of Devonshire was a real person. Mom says she was popular and did a lot of charity work. Right, Mom? There's a whole movie about her, but I can't watch it till I'm older. Cool. What's cool, though, is that I watched the trailer, which, of course, is for everybody, and I really liked it, which sadly makes me want to watch the movie even more. I guess I'll have to wait like 5 years or something. Aww.
At least we can play the piece.
Yeah, the pieces. The Boy with the Axles in His Hands by Thomas Wiggins, which was published in 1866. Thomas Greene Wiggins, known as Blind Tom, was born enslaved in Georgia in 1949, but he became one of the most famous American entertainers of the 1800s. He was autistic, which means that he experienced the world in certain unique ways. Some autistic people like Wiggins also have certain extraordinary skills. Like some of Wiggins' skills were performing and composing amazing music. He could play music on the piano that he had only heard once, play difficult classical pieces with his back turned to the piano. Oof, don't think I can do that. And could even perform 3 songs at once. I guess that means one with his right hand, one with his left hand, and what would be the third? Maybe singing? Whoa, that must have sounded cool. Marianne's Reel by Ignatius Sancho, which was published in 1770. The Birthday Party Waltz by Horace Weston, which was published in 1883. Horace Weston was an American composer and banjo player who was born to free parents in Connecticut in 1825. He became a virtuoso banjoist, and he played in popular theater performances of the day called minstrel shows. He was one of the first African-American musicians to become famous as a banjo player, and his style influenced many other musicians. Mom says that today this is the 1200 Day Party Waltz, because I'm going to have a Zoom party with my friends after this recital. I Do See It by Kenneth Kafui, which was published in 1986. It's one of my favorite pieces in the whole book. It's called La Despedida, The Farewell, by Felipe Gutierrez, which was composed in the 1800s. Felipe Gutierrez y Espinosa was born in 1825 in San Juan, which is the capital city of the Caribbean island of Puerto Rico. He became one of the first classical composers born on the island and the most important Puerto Rican composer of operas and religious music in the 1800s. He ran a free music school so that he could teach and share music with anyone who wished to learn, which is really sweet. I like that. Number 15, Had I Never Known Thee, by Thomas Martin, which was published in 1858. Thomas J. Martin was an American composer who was active in New Orleans, Louisiana in the mid-1800s. He was a free man of color in the years before the Civil War, and he published many pieces between 1854 and 1860. He played the guitar and the piano, and he operated a large teaching studio in New Orleans for many years. This is piece number 16, theme from Sonata number 4 by the Chevalier de Saint-Georges, which was composed in the 1780s. Joseph Bologne, known as the Chevalier de Saint-Georges, was born in 1745 on the island of Guadeloupe in the Caribbean. He moved to France with his parents when he was 6 years old, where he studied sword fighting and music. He became the most important composer in France during his lifetime. His music inspired other composers, including Mozart, who's actually one of the most famous black composers. Probably a lot of you know about him. Sadoh was often called the Black Mozart, but it should have been the other way around, because he came first, number 1, and number 2, he's the one who actually inspired Mozart. So, if we were being realistic here, Mozart should have been the white Sadoh. Balada by Gonzaga, which was composed in 1884. Francisca Gonzaga was born in 1847 and lived in Rio de Janeiro, which is one of the biggest cities in the South American country of Brazil. She got married, but her husband did not want her to have a musical career. Even though it was very scandalous at the time, Gonzaga divorced him. She wrote more than 2,000 pieces throughout her lifetime and became the first woman in Brazil to conduct an orchestra. Gonzaga is one of my favorite composers. Since I'm a composer, I hope I write 2,000 pieces just like her.
Well, hi everyone, I'm Sylvia's mom, and I thought before we play the last 5 pieces, I would give Sylvia a little interview. Now, Sylvia is far braver than me because she always doesn't want to know her interview questions ahead of time. So here we go. Well, you know, we were just talking about how cool it is to be doing a live stream concert because friends from all over the country or maybe even other countries can tune in. But Sylvia pointed out that with a concert that's not in person, you don't get as many hugs. So
I'll just get as many.
Well, I'll just have to give you extra to make up for
Lots
it.
of extra.
Lots of extra. Okay. Well, that brings me to my first question. There are a number of things that we can't do during shelter at home, like play chamber music with friends. But what are some of the musical things that you've been enjoying during this unexpected time at our apartment here?
Well, I might say more time to practice, but I've been doing a lot of out-school classes and stuff, so I don't know if more time would be the right word. But I have been enjoying being able to, like, if I'm doing a video of some sort of concert, sometimes it's easy to be able to splice and help and change it a little bit. And I've also been enjoying, being able to practice in my own house and, like, not having to be like when it's too late at night, then we're practicing and then the hotel manager rings up the phone and he's like, "Hello, ma'am. It's too late to practice anymore."
That's right. No hotel managers calling us, and you get to practice piano every day, which you don't always get to at hotels, right?
Really nice. Yeah, and Well,
Well,
yeah, lots of things.
What about non-musical? What are some of the things you've been enjoying spending time on?
Well, I learned how to crochet, which is really nice. We've been having a little bit of extra time to look at different things, and we learned about out school classes. So now we're doing like little lessons on out school. There are a lot of things.
Growing plants.
Oh yes, growing plants. There's Diana right there. You can't see her right now, but she's really cute. She's smiling at us, I think. And I like to talk to my plants and name them.
Now I know there's a lot of musical activities that you do, not just classical violin, but also fiddling and Baroque violin, electric violin, piano, singing, and when it's not quarantine, of course, chamber music and orchestra. Do you have a favorite musical activity out of all the stuff you do?
Yes. Does composing count?
Totally.
Well, then definitely composing. I love to compose, as I said in 2 pieces before. I'm a little bit of a composer, and I want to be a real famous composer someday. Well, I don't really care if I'm famous or not. I just hope I write some good pieces.
I'm sure you will. And if people read your biography, they see that you love mythical creatures. And do you have a favorite mythical creature? I think I already know the answer to this, but tell everybody who doesn't know.
Well, the dragon is obviously my favorite mythical creature. I did a class on Out School called How to Draw Your Own Pet Dragon.
Why do you like dragons?
Well, they're powerful, brave, and magical, and each one of them has a different, amazing type of personality. There's so many kinds, so many versions of dragons. The one I've been most interested in lately was the one actually I learned about how to draw your own pet dragon. She told us about the kinds of dragons, and the amphitheater, or whatever it was called, is basically this dragon with wings and no arms or legs. It's very cool.
Interesting, a flying lizard or something.
It's not flying. It has no arms or legs. It's like a flying snake, maybe, except the dragon characteristics.
Okay, well, we could easily talk about dragons for an hour, and we often do. But back to today is your 1200th day of practicing in a row. You started your streak back when you were 5, and you've kept going ever since. So I was curious, does it get easier the more days you've built up, or does it actually get harder to do yet one more day and yet one more day?
Actually, it doesn't really get easier or harder. It just depends on the day. Some days I'm like, oh, I'm super tired, but I guess I need to practice. And other days I'm like, oh, yay, we're practicing now. And other days I'm just like, okay, practice or not practice, whatever.
Well, on the days you don't really feel like doing it, what motivates you to actually do it?
What motivates me? Well, I don't want to lose my streak. It's sort of become a matter of habit. And if I miss a day, then I'll have to lose my entire, let's say, 1200 streak. So,
are there other reasons you want to be practicing, though?
Well, I like practicing a lot, but it's really nice. I like practicing. So that is the reason I like practicing. The reason I want to get better at violin, of course. Lots of things.
And lastly, I asked you this back on your 1000th day in November. Do you have any advice for kids who might be considering starting their very first 100 practice day challenge?
Well, I don't know. Well, you should maybe you should try making your practice fun to start some games and stuff to try to make that 100-day fun. And then if it's fun and you like doing 100 days, maybe try to go all like I did. And it's also about practicing. Another good thing about practicing is that you don't really have to perform in front of people when you're practicing. You can just practice. And also you should always try to remember that there's a saying that does not work. Practice makes perfect is not true. Practice makes always better. As I always tell my mom, there is no such thing as perfect if you play violin, unless you're playing a really, really, really easy piece. But even so, you can add vibrato, staccato.
There's always room for improvement, right?
Yeah, you need to remember that. And You also need to remember that practice is always going to help you get better, unless you do like bad practicing. And so just try to think, if you're having a hard time, just try to think about all the good things that are going to happen. How you're going to get more advanced. Think about the pieces that you're going to play. It's also sometimes fun to pick pieces ahead of time and listen to the music.
Well, that's a perfect segue back into the music. And we have 5 more great pieces to play. So why don't we check our strings real quick?
Number 18, Tuxedo by Clarence Cameron White, which was published in 1895. Clarence Cameron White was an American composer and violinist who was born in Clarksville, Tennessee in 1880. He was one of the best violinists of his day, and he gave concert tours throughout the United States with his wife, Beatrice Warwick White, accompanying him on the piano. His compositions were often influenced by spirituals and African-American folk music. Some of his operas were performed in Carnegie Hall and the Metropolitan Opera House in New York City. The famous violinist, Yasha Heifetz, recorded one of his pieces. He was only 16 when he published this piece, which may explain why he used so many dramatic dynamics. Lots of surprising pianissimos and fortissos! Number 19, Lullaby for a Black Child by Amadeo Roldan, which was published in 1937. Amadeo Roldan Gutierrez was a composer, violinist, conductor, and teacher who was born in Paris, France in 1900. His parents were from the Caribbean country of Cuba. When he was 21, he moved to Havana, Cuba, where he lived for the rest of his life, and he became a leader of cultural activities in the city. He was the conductor of the Havana Philharmonic Orchestra, and he became a professor of composition and director of the Havana Municipal Conservatory. In 1959, the school was renamed the Amadeo Roldan Conservatory in memory of Roldan. Number 20, Louisiana Infantryman's Grand Polka by Basile Berez, which was published in 1860. Basile Jean Berez was an American composer who was born into slavery in New Orleans, Louisiana in 1845. He grew up working in the music store of his enslaved family, which is where he probably first learned to play the piano and began to compose. He wrote Louisiana Infantryman's Grand Polka when he was only 16 years old. 16 again. It is the only American piece that was published and given copyright protection to an enslaved composer. After becoming free after the Civil War, he traveled to Paris, where he played piano at the Paris International Exposition. I like this piece a lot, so I googled the composer, and guess what? I found a whole album of his pieces, his piano pieces, which are all really good. Mom says she's going to add that album to the NBC website. He is best known for writing a style of music called Ragtime, and his Maple Leaf Ride became the most famous ragtime piece in history. He also wrote music for a ballet and 2 operas.
Oh, let's do that one more time.
published in 1902. Will Marion Cook was born in 1869 in Washington, D.C., and grew up with his grandparents in Chattanooga, Tennessee. When he was just 21, he became the director of an orchestra, and he studied at some of the best classical music schools in the United States. He faced discrimination as a classical performer, so he became discouraged and turned to popular theater music. His unique classical music background allowed him to help create a new type of popular song for Black American musical comedies in the early 1900s. Mom always gives me a piece of chocolate every time I practice or perform this piece.
This is why those video concerts are so different.
So sad.
I'll clap for you.
I'll clap for myself, and I'll clap for you.
Thank everyone for watching.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a nice day.
And thanks to the New Music School for sponsoring the stream.
Yes, thank you so much.